Audio Jungle.
Caymanas residents remember Barbara Gale as nicest, sweetest neighbor. The Caymanas Country Club Estate community is mourning the loss of journalist Barbara Gale, a beloved resident of the townhouse complex in St. Catherine over 10 years. Gale, who was a veteran sport supporter at the Jamaica Gleaner, died in tragic circumstances. Her body was discovered at her home on Tuesday morning. Preliminary reports suggest that foul play may be involved. Details surrounding the incident are still being ascertained. However, it is understood that Gale's motor car and phone are reportedly missing. A forensic investigator on the scene of the crime could not confirm the manner in which Gale was murdered, but said a more fulsome report will be released to the public in due time. Residents described Gale as the nicest, sweetest neighbor one could ever hope to have. If Barbara has 3 mangoes and she sees 3 people standing up talking, she will give everybody one. If she gets jackfruit or melon, she has to come to give you a piece of it. You couldn't find a nicer, sweeter human being, one resident stated. Another resident said Gale, who offered words of encouragement to other neighbors and was very active participant in the community WhatsApp group. Barbara sends everybody in the group a scripture every day, and this morning was the first she missed a day. This is so tragic. She was such a ball of energy, always running jokes, always pleasant. She was such a warm person. Some Sundays, I would pick her up and go to church with her. Boy, Jamaica, Jamaica is not the kind of news I was expecting, the resident stated. Residents said an unknown man attempted to break into the house in the community a few days ago. Gale was last seen talking to a male individual at 3 p.m. Monday when a neighbor went over her house to give her some ground provisions. Neighbors said Gale's motor vehicle was not in her usual parking spot hours later. The police are reportedly following a number of leads. Gale's career spanned over 4 decades, and she was recently one of 5 veteran journalists honored by the Press Association of Jamaica for her tireless work chronicling cases across parish courts, circuit courts, the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and even the Privy Council in the United Kingdom. In the meantime, there have been an outpouring of tribute to Gale from her former colleagues. In a statement shortly after the news, the PAJ said, as a nation-preeminent court reporter for the Jamaica Gleaner, Gale's unparalleled dedication to court reporting set a standard for beat reporting, earning her the trust and respect of judges, attorneys, prosecutors, and court staff. Throughout her illustrious career, Barbara demonstrated a commitment to justice and transparency, meticulously reporting on criminal trials, civil suits, appeals, and landmark decisions. Her integrity and professionalism earned her numerous awards, including the Press Association of Jamaica Community Service Award and the Journalist of the Year, the association stated. Justice Caroline Ty Powell, during the sentencing hearing for former U.S. student Matthew Hyde, used the opportunity to express her condolence to the family and colleagues of Gale. It has hit my brothers and sisters in a very deep way, the judge said. On some level, you cannot even imagine the profession without the name being called. Press Secretary of the Office of the Prime Minister Naomi Francis described Gale as one of the sweetest, most decent, softest, gentle souls, a journalist and a professional, trailblazing court reporter, adding that the news of her tragic passing was unimaginable. The sick creatures who did this to you shall have no rest, and the justice system must be decisive and harsh, Francis noted. Former State Minister Leslie Campbell found guilty of breaching IC Act. Former Senator and junior Foreign Minister Leslie Campbell has been found guilty of breaches of the Integrity Commissions Act. The verdict was handed down by Parish Court Judge Parla Blake Powell in the Kingston and St. Andrew Court on Tuesday. Campbell is to return to court on April 4. The former government senator was charged last year with the breaches of Parliament Integrity of Members Act and the Integrity Commission Act following recommendation from the IC's Director of Corruption Prosecution, Keisha Prince Kamiko. Campbell, however, accused the IC of misplacing some of the information for which the Commission had charged him for failing to provide. In an investigation report released in June 2023, Director of Investigation Kevin Stevenson said the anti-corruption agency made 39 written requests to Campbell to provide information between 2016 and 2020. However, Stevenson said the former lawmaker from the ruling Jamaica Labour Party only partially complied with the request. The anti-corruption agency had reported Campbell to the leadership of the parliament on February 20, 2017 for non-compliance with the request. Campbell, who had requested an urgent review of the decision, contended that he was being asked to submit and surrender value for the insurance policy, Guardian Life Care Plus, which has not surrendered value. Campbell resigned from the Senate last year. The IC's report was released in June last year. The Integrity Commission is the sole anti-corruption watchdog for public officials in Jamaica. Pay me $10 million. An 80-year-old pensioner who may have to relocate to make way for the planned Negril International Airport already knows his asking price. He wants $10 million for his one-bedroom concrete house in Maysmere Flats. It was last week that I was hearing, and I said that I have my house, and anyhow this is to happen, they will have to pay me $10 million for my house that I live in. I am a pensioner and I don't have anywhere else to go, stated the senior citizen. The man who said he began working at Foam Sugar Factory when he was 17 years old, reluctantly identified himself as Pointer. Anyhow, they are going to do anything. They have to know, say, them and my lies are going to talk first, or what and what, he insisted. The Airport Authority of Jamaica told a recent conference in Negril that a housing development and the local high school would eventually need to be relocated to make way for future growth of the Negril Airport that will be constructed in Little London. An upgrade from the existing aerodrome, it will be Jamaica's fourth international airport. It will be about 15 to 20 minutes from the tourism belt and the Negril 7-mile beach. It was deemed the better of two strong options, but plans for future expansion will still see some level of dislocation for people like Pointer. He is among several factory workers who were living in the old sugar barracks on a section of the Maysmere sugar cane land. However, their original board houses were demolished and concrete ones built under the Foam Sugar Transformation Housing Project, which provided by the European Union. There is also another housing scheme in the area, one developed by the National Housing Trust. Weeks of efforts to get a response from the NHD on plans for the development were unsuccessful. According to Pointer, residents are professionals and they are likely at work outside the community. The elderly man appeared resigned to a fate of relocating as long as he is compensated to make the way for the airport. Principal of the Little London School, Garfield James, was more enthusiastic about the planned airport. I fully endorse the plan to construct the Negril International Airport, despite the fact that the site identified so far is in close proximity to the school, which indicates that recommendation is that the school would have to be relocated for future expansion, he said in a response to queries. The school was informed of the development during a stakeholders meeting held on September 19. According to James, he sees no challenge with such a recommendation as lands are available for relocation, though a specific site is yet to be identified. Those available lands are within the same geographic space, and there is enough time to plan and execute such a relocation, he argued. The administrator noted that it was too early to give specific on the proposed relocation and timeline. However, he is convinced that such a move will accord well for the community school and the entire Westmoreland. In 2019, the Ministry of Education committed $13 million to help complete a much-needed 6-classroom building block. Little London High School had 869 students enrolled. The additional space was supposed to make it possible for them to accommodate an additional 210 students. Today, there are not more than 700 enrolled. The number fell during the pandemic and never fully rebounded. The benefits of an international airport would bring to the parish are enormous, and the relocation of Little London High School would only serve the school in a positive way on the basis that the school will be able to offer more amenities and facilities, stated James. For years, the discussions had surrounded upgrading the aerodrome, which is located on the Hanover side of Negril. However, it was eventually determined that the site would not be able to accommodate large aircraft used for international flights. As a result, two possible sites in Westmoreland were examined, Little London and New Hope Retreat Sugar Estate. It was determined that the New Hope Retreat Sugar Estate site was not suitable for future expansion, as that could have an impact on existing communities, streams, and water sources. As a result, the Little London site was selected. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.